Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing this topic. Mariam was going to say something.
Yes. So I think I think context matters when you're discussing, issues like this. When as young wives and young mothers, you'd hear the older women say to you, you need to apply wisdom in the way that you speak to him. But I found that, especially with the much older women, was that the way that marriage was arranged at that time, everything, the financial authority, everything was determined by the man. And the woman had to sort of find a way around him, so that he's always in his good graces. And if you don't have the wisdom that they ask you, that they ask us to imbibe, then you lose out. Because, and also maybe you're not just you're one of 4 wives or one of many wives. And how do you make sure that you get your own, part of the, what I'll call national cake? So that happens. But now I'm talking about the modern day marriage that many of us, have. And where the wisdom will come would be that is the wisdom that it has to be practiced by both the husband and wife. So if a husband feels that when we go for our family meetings, when you speak up so much, it makes me look bad. Sis, please don't come for my go to our family meetings with me. Or when we go, just keep your opinions to yourself. But the woman understands that it's not because I'm saying, shut up, you do not have anything reasonable to say. It's because for these people who are not even, what they think or what they do should not affect our own relationship. A woman is likely to understand that. So if, the caller that said that the particular quote that she mentioned from the Bible was about very noisy women during meetings, their voice. So yes, if you do have someone, a spouse, male or female, husband or wife, who seems to just talk over people, always arguing and quite argumentative, it's good to say to them, there's a way that you need to have a conversation. Stop screaming, stop talking while I'm talking, and if you need to disagree, there's an agreeable way to do it. That's a different kind of conversation. But that general shut up, the reason why we're taking it up is because there used to be a time where it was expected for a woman to shut up and only be seen.
There was a time, I think I've shared this story also before, there was a time where, in fact, even my husband always holds it against me anytime we have a fight. So many years ago in our old house, so my husband was trying to help a woman, one of our neighbors, who was obviously, her husband wasn't around, she was alone, and she felt that one of the neighbors was always turning on the generator and the carbon monoxide was getting into her window. So obviously she has complained to us. My husband, being the man he is, tried to appeal to the other neighbor who was doing that. That one, obviously, after a few appeals, wasn't listening. So one night, the lady came to our house and she was crying. Her son couldn't sleep, was coughing all night. So my husband, out of anger, turned off the man's generator. The man comes out, was angry, fuming, and then they started throwing punches. Now, as a wife, yes, you're right because you're trying to fight a good cause. But you turning off the man's generator without his permission or even knocking on his door, I thought that was also wrong. So I'm telling you, so my husband and the 2 men were trying to fight, and I'm holding my husband and saying, Brown, stop it, stop it. Until tomorrow, Brown reminded me how I was telling him in front of everybody to stop it when he was trying to, he felt that at that moment, I should have stood by him and not say a word and just fight for him. But I'm thinking, you were also wrong for just turning off another man's generator. Yes, the man is wrong. We've tried to appeal to him, but come on, let us be civil here. And so as a woman, he expected me to just don't say anything. All I wanted you to do was just stand by me and be fighting the man on my behalf or just be
Well, to be very honest,
so in that situation.
To be very honest,
yes.
If I were Mr. Brown in that situation, I will fight you. Because why are you... You are talking about, me, I will help him. We will throw punches together. We will fight that fight. I know that it's probably wrong, but I will fight that fight.
Exactly. So that's
Morayo,
yeah.
I also expect that if I'm outside throwing punches and you're with me, I expect you to throw the punch with me. This is not even man and woman matter. This is even friends. When we enter house, you can correct me. When it comes to fight or something,
so now let us bring that example into this. So a man is saying, it's a conversation. So it's not a fight, it's not punch. We're having a conversation. And you are speaking, and I'm speaking as a man. And you have a contrary opinion. You're not speaking alongside me. You have a contrary opinion, and you're not saying it. You expect you to shut up. Even if you don't agree with me, keep quiet. If you agree with me, yes, so we're punching together. But if you don't agree, just keep quiet. That's what this woman is saying in a different way.
Yeah. But if you're having
if you're having
like a meeting or something, or like if you're in a business area, in a business setting, for example, you're having meetings, you have a contract, you have projects you're working on, that does not even apply. Because my opinion matters for us to move forward. Yeah. If we're going to make money, or if you,
we're not using the same principle there. We're choosing where to apply this principle.
Yes, because are you trying to tell me that if we have a contract, if we have a project, and I know for your opinion is going to make us lose money, or make us lose out on something. And the reason why, as a smart, intelligent woman, you brought me on that meeting. If not, why am I at that meeting? Is for me to share my opinion. Of course, I'll share my opinion to correct and so that we know that we're moving forward. That's different. It's different from when you're fighting or when someone is attacking your person.
I hear Amaka, but I also think that let's put this way, and you may see what that woman is saying and what Morayo is trying to say, which is, let's say this is a meeting, no physical punches, and your husband has stood up and he's giving what he believes is the right thing. And then you get up and give what you think is better. And when he comes home, he says, I expected you to keep quiet, because at that time, I just needed your support, but you made me look bad. So if we agree with punching alongside, well, then we have to agree with him when he says, because you were talking as well, you made me look bad. But you must read the room.
I give you my own personal experience.
You can jump in. You can jump in if you want to.
No, I mean, I just feel definitely in the context is everything. And I think in the scenario that Sister Morayo is talking about, certainly if you wanted to say something, I think perhaps not in front of an audience, you could still correct him in the privacy of your home. And I think it would be different. Like I talk about that machismo ego. It really is a thing. But the context that the pastor is talking about is completely different. Hers is quite on the extreme of the spectrum, whereby she's saying that you cannot talk when your husband is around. I mean, so you're not even able to support him. But in the context of the scenario that you brought up, I think perhaps he would have had a completely different reaction had it been you corrected him just in the privacy, because he probably knows that it was wrong, and perhaps part of his reaction is sort of a bit of embarrassment, because he probably knows that he did the wrong thing.
Let me take this call from Hassan.
Or he overreacted.
Hassan, thanks for calling. You're live. Oh, I'm so sorry I kept it. Let's watch for our viewers who have no idea what we're talking about. Let us show the video for them.
Yeah.
With your husband in a meeting, and your husband, and they're asking questions. Woman, shut up. Keep quiet. If I'm sorry if I'm going to be harsh today, but I love you guys so much. Hallelujah. If a man and a woman, like me and my husband, maybe we're having a meeting, I don't talk. Even if I have something to say, I don't talk. I'll tell him ahead of time before I come. You don't have any business talking. It is when, that's what the Bible says, that woman, keep quiet in the church. If you have a question, go and do what? Go and ask your husband. It's not saying that, because the women at Corinth love to talk too much. So he said, instead of distorting whatever they are doing in the church, go back home. And because that time, the questions they were asking were bringing problems. So it's either she was talking too much and she wasn't discipled well. So he was in the garden, Adam was there, Eve was there, and the serpent spoke to the woman. Why was he speaking to the woman? Because Satan hates authority. Satan hates to go through the gate of authority. He hates authority so much.
So,
this woman is ridiculous.
She's an evangelist.
Because what she's doing is giving her congregation, to me, wrong advice. And I mean, what's she saying? I don't even understand what she's saying. And even from what I remember of the Bible, Adam was not even there when. Wait, what I remember of the Bible, Adam was not even there.
It was
only Eve he went to meet secretly.
Okay, yeah.
And when Adam came back, she now convinced him to eat the apple. So they don't. What she's saying, I don't even understand. But I was going to give from my own personal example. During between Jonathan and Buhari, there were a lot of arguments. Who should win the election? And everyone was supporting Buhari. I was one of those that, forgive me, Morayo, but I wasn't supporting the president, the former president then. So I was a lone ranger.
Yeah.
Everybody will say, Buhari should be the next president. Me, I would say no. My partner was supporting Buhari. And we will be arguing. But let me tell you the truth. When we will get home, it caused problem, friction, because we drew apart because our views were so different.
Was it because of the views, or was it the way that you spoke about it?
I must have been the views.
This thing you're saying, these last elections broke many marriages. Same thing. Yes. Because there are lots of people in different groups. So it goes back to, because you're my husband and you are supporting, must I support what you're supporting?
No. So for me, that's why. So for me,
for the sake of my home.
Yes. So for me, this conversation, you know, as the Honorable Minister said, she says because of the machismo or the man's ego. So that's the only place I would differ with her, because I expect it to be a two-way street. If I do it because of your ego and I give you the respect, I hope in my own time you would give me the same respect. So it's not something that is only required of me to give to the man. I hope it's what is also required of the man to give to me. If we find ourselves in a situation where maybe your silence will benefit us much better than both of us looking like we're arguing or seemingly like we're arguing in front of people, allow me, then give me that grace and respect to speak my mind, and when we get home, then we can, you know, discuss it. But it's not just about the man. Only the man is allowed to speak. Only the man is allowed to have an opinion. And if you're at a table that you have also been invited to, do not speak because your husband is there. I don't agree with that.
Okay. Okay, so like there's something I always hammer on all the time. I always say, please marry your kind. That's my rule in this life. You have no business. When you're dating somebody, you should know what you like. You should know what you want. You should know the other person. And you should know someone that, when you're dating, someone that supports you. There are men that support you, want to lift you up. Even when you're not speaking, they'll tell you, speak. Go there and speak. There are men that support their women to be in politics, to be in positions of power, because they encourage that, right? So if you're that kind of woman that you know that you cannot pretend, you cannot manipulate, you cannot swallow that your opinion, that you want to stand on what you want to stand on.
Marry your kind.
Marry your kind. Marry the man that will be clapping, applauding like, yo, baby, go, baby, man, that's my
but
baby.
But that man, things change. Things happen. Politics happen. LP showed up, Obedient showed up, APC happened, PDP happened. People are taking sides. So we didn't discuss that before marriage. So you can be PDP, I can be APC, and then we are fighting in the house. So this happens. So
you know, you're so right about things happening, because there are people, women have said of, this is the man that used to support me. He would go for all my events. All of a sudden, he feels threatened, or the language in our house has changed. So sometimes I've seen that some men will support you to a certain point. I've even heard a man say, I don't mind my wife to get as rich. She can be as rich as she wants to be, as long as she's not richer than I am. I will support her to be as, you know, to have all the money in the world, but she cannot have more money than I do. So this shows you that sometimes men, some men, because I don't think it's all men, some men would, you know, as long as they feel that they are still better than you in some way, it allows them to be, in their own interpretation, that it allows them to be the head of the family in that way. As long as you're not threatening what they feel that they bring to the table, then they will support you.
So maybe my word
pretense, to enter into their territory.
Maybe my word pretense is not as heavy as we think. Maybe it's actually apt for this, because we all kind of pretend. The man is pretending to support you because, hey, you are making him look good, and next he flips on you. Let me take this call for Ferdinand. I'll come to you, Honorable Minister. Ferdinand, you're live. Thanks for calling. Hello.
Okay, good morning.
Morning, sir.
And you, all of you. I appreciate you for this discussion. I want to start my statement by saying the woman talked about talking too much, not stopping the woman from talking at all. If a man stops the woman from talking at all, that is slavery. But when you talk too much as a woman, in front of the man or in public, it makes the man look smaller, and it is not good for your marriage at all. I am one man that loves giving my wife opportunities, bringing open her up, allow her to express herself and also make her input. But I found out that if we are having like WhatsApp family meeting, my wife will have
Oh, yikes. Ferdinand, I really wanted to finish up with it. So he's saying that, yeah.
I think,
I agree with
honestly,
him.
each case has to be assessed on its own merit. What you have to do as a woman is always protect your mental health. I think that is really very important, you know, and if the inability to speak to your husband or to articulate yourself is really something that impacts your mental health, then I think, you know, you have to assess the situation. You know, it's easy, you can't really put it in a box because things are very different, but I think it's very important for you as a woman to protect your mental health because it's not even so much about your children. If you want to be a productive mother and a productive wife and a productive member of the society, as a wife, you have to protect your mental health.
Let's take a few comments on social media. I'm sure that we have lots of comments.
Ogumola Emmanuel says, Ms. Amaka, having a voice or differing opinion is fine. My issue is that when roles are reversed, many women expect unwavering public support or in general, even when their stances make no sense. Not backing them can quickly turn into a major issue. Adisa the Enigma says, the pastor who called is a joker, according to Adisa. The pastor woman was right in totality. If you hear the woman, she said, Satan hates authority, and the average woman today working always wants to usurp authority, and for this not to happen, Paul warns.
I told you, some people agreed with her, some people disagreed. Yes, why?
Emeka says, true that, Amaka, don't marry an authoritarian. Marriage must be enjoyed, not endured. Allow your spouse to shine and be their biggest cheerleader. And now they all want to marry men with money. When they demand, the women complain.
You know,
someone says, future wife, please be outspoken and say your mind. No be mumu or property, I define that beg.
I told you, the guy, my dater for my husband, he broke up. The reason why I mentioned is the Leke broke up with me is that he said that I'm too dominant, I'm too bold, I'm too dominating, I'm too, you know, you always just talk. I don't think you can never be humble. You can never be humble. And I'm thinking, really?
So he was smart enough to understand his kind. His kind,
exactly. Yes, now. And he was smart to understand. If he was the one that broke up, he knew that you impact his mental health. So he left you. He did you a favor.
So he did me a favor.
Exactly. So Amaka, you're right. Marry the person
find your level.
Yeah, I think
we can wrap up on this. But, let's go on a short break. When we come back, we'll take on our next topic. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.